So so this thing is simple enough. This thing is going to be, before the end of the class we did this property also, that capital X0 is going to be just the sum of all the xn's. So this is simple. This is just going to be your 6. This is the value that you get. Okay. And if you were to evaluate, let's say, x2, then before evaluating xn e to the power minus j 2 pi by 4 dot 2 into n, you solve this thing and this will become xn e to the power minus j pi n, and uh, and e to the power minus j pi n will either be plus 1 or minus 1 depending upon the value of n. So this can also be written as minus 1 xn n varying from 0 to 3. Okay, if you remember, we had also done a property of x n minus 2, though the intention was not to focus on the property, but it just happened to be that it came here, that I chose this thing. So this, if you remember, if you were there in the last class, this was basically something like this. So you can evaluate this value. It's much easier. So the idea is first to, whenever you're evaluating, the idea is first to focus on this exponential and see what it gives you. Because, because of this exponential, things may get a little complex, because let's say that this was 2 pi by 2 pi by 16. So, you'll get something like cos 2 pi by 8, something that you'll have to evaluate using a calculator. So it's always good to know what exponential you're evaluating and then move ahead with the problem. Okay. So anyway, so you already know the answer to this. We had solved this in the class, but we'll look at another example. So let's look at let's go reverse. Let's say that I give you xk, and that is 1 0 1 0 starting here. Okay, so I want you to find xn. So try to solve this and give me an answer. It should be simple enough. The formula that we will be using is simply 1 upon n summation k starting from 0 to n minus 1 capital Xk e to the power j 2 pi n kn, where n also varies from 0 to 3. Solve it. I'll wait for an answer from you people. See, when you get these kind of problems, what you can do is you can substitute the values that you already know. So xn is 1 upon 4, sorry. Xn is 1 upon 4. K is equal to 0 to n minus 1 means 3. Capital X k e to the power minus j pi by 2 kn, right? So this can also be written as x0 k0, so this becomes 0, plus x1 k1 means j pi by 2n, then plus x2 e to the power j pi by 2 into 2n, because k will be 2, plus capital X3 e to the power j pi by 2 3n, right? Now if you look at it, this x, capital X1 is 0 and capital X3 is 0. So these terms anyway go away. So you're left only with 1 upon 4 x0 plus x2 e to the power j pi n. Now this has to be simple. So this can be written as xn as 1 upon 4 capital X0 plus capital X2, and e to the power j pi n is basically minus 1 to the power n, right? and this is the general expression, and you know that n will vary from 0 to 3. So the first is x0, which is 1 upon 4 capital X0 plus capital X1, and sorry, capital X2. This is capital X2, and n to the power 0 is basically, minus 1 to the power 0 is 1. So this is half, because this is 1 and this is 1, right? Then you evaluate x1, which is 1 upon 4 x0 plus capital X2 minus 1 to the power n. So n is 1 here. So you put 1 here. So this is going to be 0, because both these values are 1, but this makes it minus 1. So this is 0. Just a second. Did somebody say something? Yeah, that's the answer. Thank you. Bolna zara Kunal, kuch hear you. Anybody
Yes,
say the answer? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, okay. Great. Thank you. Dax, can you say something? I just want to test the speaker.
सर ये आई हैव अ डाउट सर x1 and x3 वाली टर्म्स कहाँ गई मैं मिस कर गया
वो
आई मीन
x1 तो 0 है ना, ये रहा,
ओके ओके सर
और x3 0 है, ये रहा.
ओके सर
Okay, so then this becomes 1 upon 4. Yeah, so now we can interact. I think the speaker here with on my this thing connection, they are weird for some time, and then I think they become okay. So I don't know. So this becomes minus 1 square. So that becomes half again. And then x3 is always going to be 0. So your xn, small xn, this sequence becomes 1 upon 2, 0. Yeah, am I right? Yeah, 1 upon 2, 0. So this is your DFT. Okay, so good enough. I think people can evaluate this pretty easily. Let's look at some other interesting problems. There is one sequence for which you should probably remember the DFT. Like for example, if suppose I give you a sequence which is unity. So xk actually comes out to be 4000. This is a standard result. You can check, you will get this answer. So if suppose I give you 4444, then what is going to be the DFT? It should just be
16000.
just like 16 0, 0, 0. Okay, so this is a standard result that, if you just ever encounter this anywhere, you should just remember that the DFT is something like this. Okay, you can solve this. You'll get this this value. What would be if I give you xn equal to delta n? Then what will be capital Xk? That is the question. Bata?
Sir, 0.
Not 0, because if you look at it,
Sir, N. Sir, N. Sir, N.
it will be delta n w and kn, right? This would be the expression.
Sir, N.
1 minute. It will be from n minus 1, right? This would be basically what it is. Now, not n, it will be 1. See, because delta n is a function which is defined only at n equal to 0. It is not defined at any other n, right? So for all values of this n, this function will actually be 0 except for n equal to 0. So what will happen is that if you put n equal to 0 here and you put n equal to 0 here, this should give you a 1. So the answer is a 1. Because if you put n any other value, delta 3, when xn is delta n is 0, basically. At that instant it is 0. So this is 1, basically. What will be the DFT for this signal? And here you'll have to use just the basic property of delta. Here we are assuming that n naught, we are assuming that this n naught will not take the sequence out of the range for which xn is defined, which happens to be just one sample. So this would be n minus 1 delta n minus n naught. Let me just write it in terms of w. So this would be wkn. So if you put, so in this case, this is only defined at n equal to n0. So this value would be delta n k n0, basically. So these are also some, standard results that it would be good if you remember. Okay, so this problem, this is a standard result, this is a standard result, and this is a standard result. That if you remember, it will be good. Okay. Okay. So now, do this thing. So if you remember, we studied something called zero padding. We'll use zero padding at some places. I told you that essentially the purpose of zero padding is to increase the length of the sequence so that there are more number of points when you are actually discretizing the discrete time Fourier transform to get DFT. So you get a high density spectrum, which is going to enhance the quality of the spectrum and also would help you evaluate xn more properly. So basically what we do is that we add zeros behind the sequence. So like for example, if you have xn, I'll just refresh your memory a little bit. So if you have xn like this, and here n is 4, and suppose I want to make it a sequence of n equal to 8. So this will be transformed to some x1 n. So this would be 1 1 1 1 0 0 0 0. So this is the sequence that you obtain. This is a zero padding. Now it may seem to you that just adding zeros, what difference would it make? But it makes a lot of difference, and I want you to see for yourself. You already know what is the DFT for capital XK, and that happens to be 4000. I want you to evaluate what will be the DFT for X1N, and tell me what is the DFT for X1N. चलो start करो निकालना, and tell me what it is. This is a problem I'm asking you people. So give me these values. In the meantime, I have a phone call to make, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, I'll ask you what is the answer to this question. Yeah, so are you getting some values? Can anybody tell me some values?
So the first value is 4,
The first one is 4, okay.
and the second one is 1 plus 1 by root 2 minus j by root 2. I don't know if it's correct or not.
You know, the first, I think the thing that you people can actually do is that you can get a general expression for x1k. So if you write it, that will be n equal to 0 to 7 x1n e to the power minus j 2 pi 8 kn, and n equal to 0 to 7 x1a e to the power pi by 4 kn, right? Now if you expand this, then you'll realize that starting from x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, everything is 0. x4 is 0, x5, x1 4 is 0, x1 5 is 0, x1 6 is 0, x1 7 is 0. So those terms don't come into this sum. So this sum becomes x1 0 basically, and this you are basically putting n equal to 0 in this case, plus x11 this becomes e to the power minus j pi kn by 4 plus x12, so you put n equal to 2, this becomes e to the power minus j k pi by 2 plus x13 e to the power minus j pi 3k by 4. Okay, so this is basically going to be your capital X1k. So if this is what your capital this thing is, k1x, so now you use these to evaluate. Let me just write it again. So this is x1k is going to be your x10 plus x1, just a second. Hello, good morning सर. अभी एक मैं ना एक क्लास ले रहा हूँ, मैं आपसे बाद में बात करूंगा, मेरी क्लास चल रही है. हाँ, x11 e to the power minus j, what was it, pi k by 4 plus x12 e to the power j pi by 2k and x13 e to the power j 3k by 4. अब इसको सॉल्व करना ज़्यादा आसान है. So x10 will be simply equal to this, सब k 0 हो गए, so this is going to be 4, straightforward. And then if you evaluate x11, then here you will get 1 plus 1 into e to the power minus j pi by 4 plus 1 into e to the power minus j pi by 2 plus 1 into e to the power minus j 3 pi by 4. Okay, so now this is how you proceed, and if you solve this, you will. There's another thing that I want to say is that whatever is this, the complex conjugate is going to be this. Not complex conjugate, it will be just the reflection of this along the y-axis basically. So this value comes out to be 1 minus j 2.414 or something, and so on. So basically, and then you will evaluate all other values. So basically what I want to say is that if you remember, the DFT of xn had 1, 4 in the beginning and all other things were 0. So here also in the beginning you get a 4, but then all other values are different. All other values are different. And they are all complex values. So, and if you remember, I told you that if you're actually, remember this, so 8 is basically 2 times 4, right? 8 is the length of x1n, 4 is the length of xn, and here the multiplication is by a factor of 2. So that means basically in the DFT you'll have r minus 1 values which will come in between the original values. So fundamentally your DFT would be something like this. It will be 4 some value 0 some value 0 some value 0 some value. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So if you remember, this value, this value, this value, and this value were there originally in the xn DFT. So all you're doing is that you are calculating the values that will come in between. So fundamentally, you don't need to evaluate all the values. You need to evaluate x1n, x11, then x12 you already know. You can check, it will come out to be 0 only. Then you evaluate x13, which is this value. Then if you check x14, it will come out to be 0 only. Then you need to evaluate x15 and you need to evaluate x17. So your problem is somewhat reduced in complexity, that given this formula, you don't have to evaluate 7 values. You just have to evaluate one value. You have to evaluate this value. You have to evaluate this value, and you have to evaluate this value. And considering the fact that, looking at what this value is, which is this value, I can very well say that the others are also going to be complex. So that is what I'm trying to say, that, with zero padding, when you evaluate the DFT, what you can do is that you can see what is the DFT of the non-zero padded sequence. Then you already know that those values will be present in the DFT of the zero padded signal, but then there'll be some missing values in between that you have to evaluate, and that will reduce the time that you will have to take to evaluate the complete answer. So, just for consistency, let me give you these values. So x13 will come out to be 1 minus j 0.414. x15 comes out to be 1 plus j 0.414, and x17 comes out to be 1 plus j 2.414. That is what it is. Okay, so that's it. I mean, this is how you will solve the problem. Okay. Now let's look at some more problems, but now let's exploit the matrix notation of DFT. That is often useful. Matrix notation. Problems based on matrix notation. So here we are going to be using the twiddle factor matrix, and we are going to be using the properties. Of Wn. Okay, so if you remember, x was basically Wn small x. This was one thing, and x could be written as Wn small n inverse, which was basically nothing, but it was the complex conjugate, and of course you will have a n here, x. Okay, so this is what we will be using to evaluate these, and of course the properties of Wn, which I think you people remember. So let's take an example. So I say if xn is cos pi n, and I give you that n is between 0 to 3, then I say evaluate DFT. Okay, so now what I'm asking is that you do this problem, so you can just say that x0 is going to be cos 0, which is 1, x1 is cos pi, which is minus 1, x2 is cos 2 pi, cos 2 pi is 1, just a second, cos 2 pi is 1, x3 is cos of 3 pi, which is minus 1, right? So your sequence actually xn happens to be 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. So now I am asking you to evaluate the DFT. So the capital X is going to be W4 matrix into X. Give me the answer. You already know what W4 matrix is going to be. We had evaluated in the class. If you remember, all the first elements of columns is 1, and all the first elements of the first row are 1, all the first elements of the first column are 1. That is independent of the value of capital N, however, but then this is a peculiar matrix that you people should remember, and this is simple to remember. This is minus 1, this is J, this is minus 1, 1, minus 1, and this is J, minus 1 minus J. Okay, so now I want you to give me an answer to this question. What will be, so you have capital X0, capital X1, capital X2, capital X3, and on this side you have 1, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 1. Then you have minus J, minus 1, J. Then you have minus 1, 1, minus 1, J, minus 1, minus J. And on this side you have X0, you have X1, you have X2, and you have X3. Okay. Please give me the answer. I want you to tell me what this matrix is. That is what it is. Now let me just ask. हाँ तरुण कुछ बोल रहे हो? लिख दो, बोलो मत, लिख दो. Yeah, 0040. That's the answer. Yeah. So this is so capital XK is 0040. So this value, this will be 1, this will be -1, this will be 1, this will be -1. So that is the answer. Okay, try to evaluate this and tell me what answer do you get. Take another problem. As far as the matrix notation goes, it'll always be good if you can write a matrix notation, but generally if it's a DFT which is more than 4 points, this matrix, like for example, if you're taking a 8-point DFT or if you're taking a 6-point DFT, so this matrix is going to 6-point DFT means this matrix is going to be 6 cross 6, and generally we go in multiples of 4. So the next would be 8, so it will be 8 cross 8 matrix. So that will be difficult to write because you'll get a lot of complex terms. So here you're getting only real and imaginary terms in the matrix. But if you have, say, W8, if you were to evaluate this quantity, W8, then this would have complex numbers in the middle, and that will be kind of difficult to remember and to evaluate. But yeah, if you can kind of generate a program to do this, evaluate the Twiddle matrix in the actually you can very easily generate a computer program to evaluate Twiddle matrix. You just have to fill the elements of the matrix. You just have to give a formula and the computer is going to evaluate all those elements, and then on a computer this becomes easy. But in if you have to solve it, then I think anything above 4 is going to be difficult. So just for argument sake, I'm telling you this. So let's look at another problem. Sine pi n by 2, and here also n varies from 0 to 3. So I would want you people to tell me what will be the xt.
सर ट्विडल मैट्रिक्स सेम ही है
Twiddle matrix has got nothing to do with xn. It is only a function of capital N, and capital N seems to be the same in this case. So the Twiddle matrix will remain the same.
सर ट्विडल मैट्रिक्स के बारे में मुझे समझ नहीं आया इज दिस समथिंग यूनिवर्सल और ये क्वेश्चन टू क्वेश्चन स्पेसिफिक होता है
Look at this, Daksh. Wn is basically e to the power minus j 2 pi n, right? So this value is 2 pi by n minus j 2 pi by n, right? What does it depend upon? It depends upon only n, right? Only capital N, this value, right?
यस सर
Now, if you have to evaluate Wn to the power kn, right? So that will be simply cos 2 pi, kn will get added here, so you get 2 pi kn minus j sine 2 pi n kn, right? So now, if I say that the length of the sequence is 4, right? If capital N is 4, right? So you know that k will vary from 0 to 3. You know that n will also vary from 0 to 3. So if you were to make a Twiddle matrix, then if you remember what this matrix was, the properties of this matrix is as follows. It is 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, right? So the first rows will always be equal to this. So we are basically evaluating this at n equal to 4. Then this was basically W41, this was W42, this was W43, then this was W42, this was W44, this was W46, this was W43, this was W46, this was W49. So basically in this entire case your Kn becomes equal to 1, your Kn becomes equal to 2. So you just simply put these values over here and you evaluate. You will see that if your sequence is of 4 samples, then this matrix does not change. This matrix will remain the same because K will also vary from 0 to 3, N will also vary from 0 to 3. So at maximum value of K will be 3, the maximum value of N will be 3. So you'll get a product of maximum of 9, it will not go beyond it. And all other values in between will give you products ranging from 1 to 9. And some of them will be skipped. So basically you have to evaluate these values. No matter what sequence is given to you, so long as the sequence is of a length of 4, the twiddle matrix will not change. If you get a sequence of 6, no matter what sequence you get, the twiddle matrix will not change. If you get xn to be a sequence of 8, no matter what sequence you get, the twiddle matrix is not going to change. So twiddle matrix depends upon the value of capital N rather than anything else. So if you see, the dimension of twiddle matrix will always be n cross n. That is what you need to remember. Have I cleared your doubt, Daksh?
So yes, sir, और हम ये W41, W4, W43 and नीचे W42, W46 and W49. How are we writing this part?
How are we writing this? You were you not there in the class where I derived this? Okay. Then एक मिनट पहले उसका आंसर निकाला है लोगों ने किसी ने जिसको मतलब do you know the answer to that question that I gave? Okay, we'll come to that in a while. Let's just look at how this matrix gets developed. Okay, so let's look at this. So what is the basic definition? The basic definition of DFT is this. And this can be written as n is equal to 0 to capital N minus 1 xn wn kn, right? So this is what it is, because we can write, this is because wn can be e to the power minus j 255 n. This is how we can write, right? So now let's look at let's look at a simplified version where your n is 4, okay, because it's manageable. So if n is 4, capital N is 4, so small n varies from 0 to 3 and k varies from 0 to 3, okay. So your xk at any given time is n equal to 0 to 3 xn W4 Kn, if I put it in the formula. So I can expand this and I can write this as okay, so I just expand this. So there was x0 to the power W40, because I'm just putting n equal to 0, plus x1 W4 to the power k, because n is 1, x2 W4 2k plus x3 W4 3k, right? I've expanded it. Now let's look at, so I've expanded it in n now. Let me find out various capital X Ks. So let me just write them down. Let me first write the formula again here. So that is X0 W40 plus small x1 W41 small x2 W42 small x3 W43. Okay, so now K varies from 0 to 3. So let's evaluate capital X0. That is into 1 plus x1. Sorry, this was sorry. This was K. So this is K, this is 2K, and this is 3K. So K is equal to 0 in this case. So this is 1 plus x2 is 1 plus x3 is 1. Okay. Now let's evaluate capital X1. Capital X1 is x0. So this is always going to be 0. So this is 1. This power is always going to be 0. So this is 1. Then you have x1. Then you write W41. Then you write x2, which is W42. Then you write x3, which is W43, because K has been substituted as 1. Then you come to x2. So that becomes x0 into 1. I'm just putting the values here in this formula for K. Then you have x1 W42 plus x2 W44 plus x3 W46. Then x3 is x0 into 1 plus x1 into W43 plus x2 into W46 plus x3 into W49. Now you can see that this forms the twiddle matrix, and these are the elements with which that matrix is constantly being multiplied. So if I was to write it as a matrix, I will write it as x0, x1, x2, x3. So this is a column matrix 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, W41, W42, W43, W42. I'm basically writing, this is the, all the highlighted ones forms the first row, the second highlighted one, second row, third row, and fourth row. So, you know, this becomes W43, this becomes W44, this becomes W46, this becomes W46, and this becomes W49. And you get the matrix. And on this side, you get x0, x1, x2, x3. So that's why I write it as capital X is W and matrix to small x. Is it clear now to all of you?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. So now let's go to the problem again, and please tell me what is the answer to that problem. So the problem was that your xn was sine pi n by 2, and your n basically varied from 0 to 3, which means that capital N is 4, which means that your twiddle matrix is going to be 4 cross 4, which we have just evaluated. That doesn't change. What is the value for xn? What is the sequence? Can anybody tell me? बताओ, सीक्वेंस तो बताओ. कहाँ गए सब?
0 1 0 minus 1
0
1 0 minus 1
1 0 minus 1. ठीक है. अब मुझे डीएफटी बता दो.
0 2j 0 minus 2j
0 minus 2j 0 plus 2j. ये है आंसर. उल्टा बोल दिया, चेक करो. This is the answer. Just a second. Hello. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. Hello. Yeah. So I think probably all this is clear. I just got a call from Dean, so that's why. I think what we'll do is that we'll end the class now, and we'll look into problems of. So in the next class, which is at 2 p.m., we will look into problems related to properties of DFT. Okay, so there is one thing that I want you people to do. I had put up the notes of yesterday's lecture on the Google Classroom, and it has all the properties that we have to study in DFT. So it's my request that you just go through those properties or write it on a piece of paper and keep it next to you in the class, so that when we do numericals, you have the properties there alongside, and we'll be able to quickly do all those numericals. Okay, so just do that. And we are going to meet now at 2 p.m. for a class. Okay, if there is any question, you can put it up. Otherwise, we'll just meet at 2 now. Okay, then see you. Bye.